Drug use and drug abuse, pag-usapan po natin yan ngayong hapon sa Kababayan LA. This is a serious issue. Kasama natin representatives who are going to be talking about that today and also this coming Tuesday, September 1st. Right. We're going to be talking about that also on the show. Army Cachero is a community organizer, and you are with the San Gabriel Valley Crystal Meth Coalition.
Yes.
Hello and welcome to Kababayan LA. We are also with Manny Padua. He is a program coordinator for Asian Pacific AIDS Intervention Team. There is a connection, right? Meth users and HIV AIDS victims?
Yes, there is a direct correlation.
What is the direct correlation?
The blood mixture when they're using syringes.
Oh, and sharing needles
Yes.
and all that. Okay, that is so sad. That's why we have to talk about this serious issue. Also beside Manny is Greg Pacificar, and he is with Barangay Los Angeles. What is Barangay Los Angeles?
Barangay Los Angeles is a Filipino LGBT, gay, lesbian, bi, transgender nonprofit, and we build like a social network and a support group, safe space for our LGBT.
And alarmingly, LGBT issues also correlate to meth. How does it?
Well, if you go back to like coming out, you know, dealing with family, no one really talks about sex, sexuality. And so coming out, there's anxiety, there's fear that, you know, you might get rejected.
Right.
So people need to escape. And
they turn to drugs.
They could, yes.
Why do you think, Army, Filipinos turn to drugs? More Filipinos turn to drugs. We have some information here, and it's saying that Filipinos have the highest among other Asians, at least in San Gabriel Valley.
Well, actually, I think part of the problem is that since there is 45 ethnicities and 25 languages, we really aren't collecting the right data, where there's not enough data and they're not outreaching to the different languages to get the data. Plus, there's not direct interpretations for crystal meth. So I think that there's plenty of people who are doing crystal meth and don't realize it, whereas Filipinos are in a unique situation where they speak English, and so they would understand the information about crystal meth and are more likely to get help.
Right. What's going to happen on Tuesday is you're going to have a summit talking about these things.
First of its kind.
And what is this about?
Well, it's actually in the San Gabriel Valley, the crystal meth use amongst youth, the treatment admissions is the highest. So that's under 25, and we're also finding that 77% of the of those are started under the age of 15. So in reality, we're not hitting them soon enough.
Right, exactly. At 15, where do they get the drugs at 15?
Well, that could be from their peers, or just word travels where there could be a dealer elsewhere, somewhere in the neighborhood.
What's alarming is sometimes they say it's also readily available in schools. When you were in school, I mean Barangay Los Angeles, in Los Angeles, I know that's also a problem. What can you say about that?
You know, when you're in high school, especially in the suburban communities, there is drugs everywhere, you know, and they have dealers in the actual neighborhoods, and you wouldn't think like that, you know, these nice suburban homes.
Right, right. How do you say no? How can parents protect their kids from this, especially kids stay in school for almost the whole day?
Well, part of the reason that Asian and Pacific Islanders particularly are doing crystal meth is because of the pressure to do well in school. So if there's this intense pressure to do well in school, and there's the second generation, third generation racism aspect, especially if you're in particular neighborhoods where there's an Asian other ethnicity clash, and you're fighting to have these good grades, it only makes sense to do a drug that'll help you stay up and study and do well all the way through getting your doctorate.
And Greg mentioned something earlier, Manny, about the issues and the pressure that LGBT youth, the LGBT youth face. What can you add about that?
Well, some experience internalized homophobia, and that's partly a self-hatred because of our tradition, or how our culture views homosexuality. It's not well accepted.
Right.
So,
especially among Filipinos, do you find that it's also like that? In the Philippines, it is like that because there's a lot of machismo going on. How about the Filipino-American community here? Is it pretty much the same?
It could be, because I think remnants of our traditions, whether it's from our original country or from our grandparents here, or from our mothers and fathers.
Right, right. What do you say now to parents watching us? Your kids may be a homosexual. How do you deal with them so that you don't push them away to bad influences like this?
I think a good way to do that is just open dialogue. You know, creating a safe space at home, so they don't feel the pressure that they can't speak to to their mom or dad.
Right. But you know what? Meth use is not just for the LGBT community.
Definitely
There's
not.
lots of heterosexual out there. And what's alarming is, as you said, they start at 15. What do you say to parents?
Well, part of what we'll be talking about in the summit is actually overviewing what addiction is, and that it's more of a brain disease. And the reason that we need to address it with youth is because the use of crystal meth will stunt the growth of the prefrontal cortex or the cerebral cortex, the cognitive functioning and executive functioning. So what that means is that if we don't start talking to them sooner and being very frank about it, then we're not going to be able to get them before they have real brain damage or real brain stunting. And with parents, what they need to be talking about is to not only talk about scare tactics.
Right.
Because right now we're still in the mode, the just say no mode, which has not worked at all.
Okay, and so we're going to be finding out more tactics and tips for you on Tuesday, September 1st.
Definitely.
How can they join? Is there a fee for this? And where do they get more information from?
It's absolutely free, and it comes with breakfast and lunch and prizes and outreach workers. And so I definitely think that everybody should come. They should go to actnowagainstmeth.org.
Or that's the phone number on the screen. If you want to get more information, that's the number to call. Yes, Army, thank you so much.
Thank you.
And Manny and Greg, thank you so much for coming. Manny, I will have you back on the show. We'll talk about HIV among Filipinos. That seems to be a serious problem as well. When we return, more on Kababayan LA. Don't go away.